Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we are continuing the Crown Tundra guide series with Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele used to be a huge threat in the meta, being a very strong Choice Specs or Choice Scarf Pokemon with its amazing ability Psychic Surge to set up Psychic Terrain to boost its own attacks. Now, this Pokemon has fallen off a little bit. Instead of being a top 10, top 20 Pokemon like it was in the year that it was announced, like VGC 2017 and forward, now it is definitely fallen. It is still like a top 50 Pokemon probably, but it is a lot weaker. It is still good, obviously. It just doesn't do the damage that, takes down Dynamax Pokemon because those Pokemon have a lot of HP. Psychic Fairy is a very good typing, having a very good offensive move pool. Psychic Fairy can hit a lot of things for super effective, which is very good. We don't have a lot of things right now. There's not too much Pokemon. There's not too many Pokemon in the meta that Psychic is really hitting hard right now, but it's still very solid. It's a good typing defensively as well, only having 3 regular weaknesses of Poison, Ghost, and Steel. All 3 are pretty used in the meta, with Steel being, pulling ahead a little bit more than Poison and Ghost, but all are pretty used in the meta. 2 resistances of Fighting and Psychic, which is good, and 1 immunity of Dragon. So overall, typing is pretty solid, ability is good. Let's look at its stats. So this Pokemon is a very Glass Cannon type Pokemon with very solid special defense. So its HP is 70, which is pretty low, and defense is 75, which is also pretty low. But its special defense at 115 is actually pretty good and not bad. So special defensively, not taking too much damage. You will still be taking a lot of damage from super effective hits that are special offensive. Things like, Flash Cannon from Celesteela, offensive ones, Max Oozes from things like what's the guy? Venusaur. Pretty solid. So, special defense is pretty okay, but other than that, pretty bad bulk all around. Attack at 85 doesn't really matter. It actually sucks that it's that high. And then special attack at 130 is by far its best stat, and it's very solid stat. So if you're looking for a Glass Cannon Pokemon like this, special attack at 130 is a very solid range for that to be at, especially if you use something like Choice Specs. 130 plus Choice Specs is doing a lot of damage, plus Psychic Surge, plus Stab. You're doing a lot of damage, which is good. Its speed at 95 is very solid as well. For being a Glass Cannon type Pokemon, you need fast speed, which is very good for this Pokemon. 95 isn't bad at all. And then with, Choice Scarf, that makes this speed very, very good, which is good. So, yeah. That is about it for the overview. Let's go ahead and talk about Tapu Lele, the move sets that I have. So I only have 1 set for it today, just because I feel like it's pretty much the optimal way of using this. I have seen a couple of people using like a bulky Tapu Lele spread, in which case I think is really cool and interesting, but I haven't used that myself, so I wouldn't want to spread that information. I have used this, in VGC 2021, but a lot in 2017 as well, and it's very solid right now. Tapu Lele Choice Scarf, I like at Choice Scarf because it gives you that 1.5 times speed, which is kind of the whole thing for Tapu Lele. Setting up Psychic Surge, using Stab, and then using Choice Scarf is very, very solid, being able to be a very fast special attacking sweeper, which is good. I went for 4 attacks, just since Choice Scarf, no room for Protect there. You don't want to use Protect. You could go for Taunt, Ally Switch could be kind of cool, and then you have a good bit of coverage there that we can use as well, so I'll talk about that here in a moment. But for the 4 moves that I was using today, I used Psychic, Moonblast, Shadow Ball, and Thunderbolt. Psychic is, of course, very strong. You can use Psyshock if you want to as well, if your team is very, special attacking already. Psyshock being able to hit the physical defense instead of the special defense, which is very good. So it gives you a little bit of, versatility if you want to use that instead. We also went Moonblast instead of Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam giving you that multi-targeting instead of, Moonblast, which hones in on one, being able to take down things like Urshifu really easily right now. Moonblast hitting things like Moltres, Galar. We have a good bit of things that are good and dark in the meta, so Moonblast is very solid. We have Shadow Ball as well, being able to hit our weakness of Ghost as well, which is very good. Being able to hit Psychic Pokemon. Shadow Ball is just a good move in general, good coverage, it's solid. And then Thunderbolt as well. We have a lot of flying stuff in the meta right now, so it's not bad having Thunderbolt on the team. We also have things like Tapu Fini going around, being able to 2-3 shot that with an easy Thunderbolt is not bad to have as a little thing there. So it's pretty good. I like this set. I think it's good, but there is definitely room for customization. Things like Focus Blast, Hyper Beam, Energy Ball, Taunt, Ally Switch, Calm Mind, Protect. All are options. You can even customize the item. You could go for Choice Specs. You could go Life Orb. If you make a defensive, bulky spread, you could go for a Berry. That could be good. You could even use Focus Sash with this Pokemon. You know, it's pretty customizable, but overall, the idea is there. It's the same for most builds, just being a fast, strong sweeper. And that's kind of what you want to be doing. Speaking of being a fast, strong sweeper, you definitely want to use its EVs correctly. And here we're just making it very, very basic at speed 225 or 252, special attack 252, and the leftover 4 in HP. That could go into special D. That could go into defense. Yeah, it's pretty solid. So I like having the 252 4 spread for this Pokemon just because it's pretty basic. Choice Scarf, you know, special sweeper. You could even go modest. I like timid though because then you outspeed everything like Pheromosa and Dragapult easily. I think you would outspeed Dragapult without the nature as well, but you know, just safe measure. It's not bad to have 240 speed. It's very fast. We'll talk about the speed tiers here in a moment, but they're pretty good. You know, Tapu Lele would be outspeeding a lot of stuff at Scarf, so that's very solid. That's about it for the moveset, and the move pool and the options and stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about these 2 synergetic Pokemon and then move on. So I have Incineroar here first off. You know, being dark, it's capable of hitting the psychic Pokemon. The Tapu Lele actually does have access to a Shadow Ball, but it does also destroy those steel Pokemon that Tapu Lele can't hit unless it uses Focus Blast. But Focus Blast is very, you know, mediocre because of the fact that it has 70% accuracy, so being able to hit things with the Incineroar is good. Also, Intimidate definitely helps this Pokemon out with, you know, its very low physical defense. Maybe being able to take 1 to 2 hits with after an Intimidate or 2 as well could be really helpful. Obviously, you lose the Fake Out with the Psychic Surge because, you know, priority moves cannot be affected anymore, but it's still good to use. The Incineroar, I think, is a very solid synergetic Pokemon. Next, we have the Urshifu as well. Once again, can hit those Steel-type Pokemon with its very strong close combat, and it also just is good there. Obviously, you lose the Sucker Punch, so you do lose a couple of things, but with Tapu Lele, a lot of people are like, want to hide behind Protect, and Urshifu can hit right through that, so that's very solid as well. Both these Pokemon make a good bit of sense on this team, so I like it. Yeah, that's really it for that. Let's move on. So next we have our speed tiers. Tapu Lele, like I said, is very, very fast under this, and I just realized I forgot to change some of the names there. So that's Salazzle and Shiftry. Shiftry should be Venusaur, Salazzle should be Regieleki. My bad on that. But 241, outspeeding a lot of stuff. You know, Lando T at Choice Scarf. We outspeed Dragapult, Dracovish at Scarf, Tapu Koko, Cinderace, Thundurus. All of these 150 to 170 Pokemon. You know, Kartana, Garchomp, Nihilego. There's a lot of Pokemon that are really good in that 150 to 200 range that Tapu Lele is just, you know, dusting, which is very, very good. It is outsped by some stuff, and most of them are just like a couple of fast Scarf users. Regieleki, of course. Regieleki is absurd. If it's max speed. If it's not max speed, we are outspeeding, which is very good. And then you have, you know, all the weather Pokemon, the Kingdra at Swift Swim, Excadrill at Sand Rush, and then you have the Venusaur at Chlorophyll. So, you know, getting outsped by a couple of things that you should just, like, assume it's getting outsped by. Just because doubling speed is crazy. You know, Choice Scarf only gives you 1.5 times instead of 2 times. It's very solid, though, and I definitely like the speed tiers that this is at. It's very competent. Anyway, that is it for the speed tiers. Let's move on, talk about some damage calcs here. So, honestly, when I was going over damage calcs, it was a little lackluster with Choice Scarf, mostly due to Dynamax. Like, every time that I put in something for Dynamax, I was like, wow, that should be doing more damage. But then it's like, well, this Pokemon was doing like an unbelievable amount of damage before, but then Dynamax doubling health is just, it makes the Pokemon very mediocre in its eyes, or in a lot of people's eyes. So that's why it's very trended down. But I still think it's very good, and we'll show off some of the good damage calcs. So first off, we have Tapu Lele Psychic in its terrain. Actually, none of these are in its terrain. I just realized that. No, I lied. They're all in terrain. I'm an idiot. Anyway, Tapu Lele Psychic in terrain, into a 0 HP, 0 special defense. It would have 4 HP, but as you can see here, we're doing 172 to 203%, which is guaranteed OHKO. That, you know, 4 HP investment isn't really changing anything there. Urshifu Rapid Strike, the water version, is just mincemeat to Tapu Lele, which is very, very good. Next, we have Tapu Lele Moonblast into a Grimmsnarl. The most used currently on Picolytics is the 244 HP, 124 special D. Through light screen, we are hitting 58 to 69%. Nice. And it's a guaranteed 2-hit KO, which is very good for that. Mostly because, you know, being able to 2-hit a guy through screens that set screens is very good. You can, you know, make that Grimmsnarl only lasts for a little while. It would be able to set up both screens, but if you add like a brick breaker or something to your team, you can get through that, which is pretty good. Next, we have Tapu Lele Psychic into Regieleki through screen. This is a very non-bulky Regieleki, as you can see here, but we hit 73 to 87 through light screen, which is guaranteed to a KO, so we have room for it to be pretty, invested into bulk, to still be able to take a pretty concisive 2-hit KO, which is very good. Next, we have Tapu Lele Moonblast into a Dynamaxed Moltres Galar at 4 HP. This is currently the most used, the 4 HP, 252 attack, or special attack and speed. So, yeah, Moltres Galar. If it has no bulk in Dynamaxes, we are hitting 40 to 48, which is guaranteed 3-hit KO. Very close to a 2-hit KO, so if you use that plus like a rock sliding guide to your side, like a Lando or something, you're taking out Moltres pretty easily, but it does do a lot of damage, especially after you proc its weakness policy, and Tapu Lele will be faster, so you are proccing its weakness policy and Berserk, or actually not Berserk here, but you will be proccing its weakness policy, so it'll probably be taking it down. Next, we have Tapu Lele Psychic into a Dynamaxed Venusaur in Psychic Terrain, hitting 65 to 76.9, which is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, which is very solid. Doing a lot of damage against a Dynamaxed Venusaur is very good. It will obviously be doing a lot of damage with Max Ooze, probably taking a pretty concisive OHKO, but still good damage calcs to know. And then for the last one, I wanted to add one defensive calc. This one I just thought was pretty cool. 252 attack Urshifu Sickle Strike Wicked Blow, so this is without Choice Band or Life Orb, but a lot of them are Focus Sash. Will be hitting into our 4 HP Tapu Lele on a critical hit, obviously, because that's always what Wicked Blow does. It only has a 31.3% chance to OHKO, so you actually have a pretty solid chance to live that if it's not supplemented by Choice Band. So if it takes you out, there's probably a pretty good chance that it is a Choice Band Urshifu, which will give you some knowledge as well as, well, it'll kill you, so it'll feel bad, but still, it's pretty good. Yeah, I just thought that was a cool defensive calc. Most of the defensive calcs that I ran are just like, yeah, this guy's dead. It's not very bulky. It's, very glass cannon-y, like I was saying. Anyway, that is it for the damage calcs. Let's talk about Single Spotlight real quick before I end the video. So in Single Spotlight, nothing too fancy with the Tapu Lele. I just ran choice specs with Psychic Surge, of course, Psychic and Psyshock, since we can afford to, use both those moves. Moonblast for stab, and then Thunderbolt as well. Just being a pretty tactical Pokemon. You can switch out Thunderbolt. I don't know why I said tactical Pokemon. That's not really what this is. It's kind of just like a meathead that just punches guys, but still, whatever. You can switch out Thunderbolt for a different move of coverage. If you want to use like Focus Blast or Energy Ball or anything, you can switch that out. And then as far as the EV spread, I just went 252 into special attack and speed, and then the leftover 4 into special defense, since it's singles, so you can actually afford to just hone in on one of them more so, because you know exactly what your opponent's attacking with, so that's pretty good. Anyway, that is about it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. It really makes a huge difference. Only about 30% of people are that watch my videos are subscribed, so it's easy and free and good to do. A bunch of links in the description on my social medias and stuff. If you want to support the channel more, go do those. It really, does make a big difference. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a good week and weekend. I guess just have a good week. I mean, I guess you could have a good weekend too, but that's pretty far away. Anyway, that is it for the video. Goodbye.